Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Today we're looking at Dragonfly Energy. The big question is it a good time to buy now?
As usual, before we start, subscribe, like, and comment to this video to support the show. And if there's a specific company you want us to look into, leave it in the comments below.
So let's get into the analysis. We're examining Dragonfly Energy. They're focused on lithium-ion battery systems, mainly for niche markets,
Niche markets like what, exactly?
Think high-end RVs, marine applications, some solar, light industrial storage. They're definitely playing in that big energy transition space with battery tech.
Right, they're in a hot sector, but wow, if you look at that stock chart, it's less growth stock and more, sheer chaos.
Exactly. And that's the core issue we need to unpack here. You've got this unbelievable short-term stock surge fighting against some, pretty serious fundamental problems.
Well, it's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's start with that surge, because that's what grabs your attention.
For sure. I mean, the stock gained a massive 416% just in the past month.
416%. That's the kind of move that pulls everyone in, traders looking for that quick profit.
Absolutely. But, okay, here's the other side of that coin, the reality check.
Go on.
Even after that huge spike, the stock is still down. Wait for it. 71% compared to last year.
71% down year over year. Ouch. So that 416% jump?
Mm-hmm.
It's not really a recovery story yet, is it?
Not based on fundamentals, no. It screams speculation. It feels like market reaction to maybe some news or just capital sloshing around. Definitely not a sign of a stable, healthy business underneath. At least, not yet.
But hang on, what about the analysts? I saw the consensus rating is actually strong buy.
It is, yeah. Quite optimistic, actually. They have a 12-month price target around $1.50.
$1.50. From where it's been trading recently, that's like, a 35% upside they're calling for?
Roughly, yeah. As of early November 2025.
How do they justify a strong buy with that kind of year-over-year drop and, the financial picture we're about to get into? Are they seeing something we're not? Or just betting big on a turnaround?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because that optimism runs smack into the financial statements. We really need to look at the fundamentals before anyone gets carried away by that momentum.
Okay, let's do it. The financials. Where do we start? The 10K, 10Q filings paint a picture.
They certainly do.
Yeah.
And it's challenging. Let's start at the top. Revenue.
Right. In a growth sector like lithium batteries, you'd expect revenue to be climbing fast.
Well, it's not. Full year 2024 revenue was $50.65 million. That's down pretty significantly, 21.35% from the year before.
Down over 21% in this market.
Yeah.
That's not just a hiccup. That sounds like they might be losing ground.
It strongly suggests that, yeah, losing market share maybe, or facing intense price pressure from bigger players. It's definitely a major red flag, especially in a growing industry.
Okay, so revenue's shrinking. What about the bottom line? Profitability.
Non-existent. Net income is still deep in the red. We're talking negative $30.45 million over the trailing 12 months, the TTM.
Still burning cash then. But is it getting better or worse?
Worse. Much worse, actually. Those losses blew up by almost 194% year over year in 2024.
Whoa, nearly tripled their losses. That's alarming.
Yeah.
It's not just pre-profitability. That sounds like costs might be out of control or margins are just collapsing.
Could be either or both. Fierce competition can really squeeze you. And this leads us to maybe the biggest red flag, especially for a company needing lots of capital.
Which is?
Liquidity. Cash. Their operating cash flow is negative. They're burning money just keeping the lights on and running the business day to day.
Okay, negative cash flow.
Mm.
How bad is their short-term cash situation? Like, can they pay their immediate bills?
That's where it gets really concerning. Their quick ratio. It's critically low, 0.3.
0.3. Remind us what that means.
So the quick ratio compares easily sellable assets like cash and receivables against immediate debts, stuff due soon. You really want that number well above 1.0, maybe 1.5 or even 2.0 in manufacturing.
And they're at 0.3.
Yeah. 0.3 basically signals significant immediate risk. It means they're heavily reliant on finding new money constantly.
Right. And for a battery company, you need cash for everything. R&D, materials, scaling up production.
Exactly. So a quick ratio that low means they're essentially dependent on outside funding, like capital raises, just to keep going and fund any kind of growth.
Which explains the recent capital raise then.
Precisely. They just pulled in about $55.4 million total. Part of that was a $25 million public stock offering.
So they got the cash they needed, which is good.
It shores up the working capital, yes, but the cost was immediate dilution for existing shareholders, and it really highlights how urgently they needed that cash just to operate.
Okay, so we got shrinking revenue, ballooning losses, negative cash flow, critically low liquidity. Feels pretty bleak.
Yeah.
Is there anything positive on the valuation side, or is it just pure speculation driving the stock?
Well, there is one potential positive that value investors might point to, kind of a glimmer.
What's that?
Their price-to-sales ratio, the PS ratio, it's around 1.6x right now.
And how does that compare?
It's actually quite a bit lower than the median for the U.S. electrical industry. That median can range anywhere from, say, 2.3x up to maybe 7x.
Ah, okay. So the argument is, if they can somehow fix the revenue decline and stabilize things, the stock could be considered cheap relative to peers based on sales. Classic turnaround bet then.
That's the bull case in a nutshell, yeah. Betting on the turnaround.
Okay, so what are the actual reasons for that turnaround hope? What's fueling that 416% spike? There must be some positive news, some catalyst investors are latching onto.
Oh, absolutely. There are some genuine positive developments happening. First off, intellectual property. IP is crucial in this tech space.
Right.
They recently got a notice of allowance for a patent. It enhances their battery communication technology.
Battery communication.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean for their products? What's the benefit?
It basically allows their battery systems to talk more effectively with other components in, say, an RV or a boat. Think the vehicle's main system, the engine controls, solar chargers.
So better integration, smoother operation.
Exactly. It helps optimize charging, manage power better, improves the overall system performance and longevity. That kind of seamless integration is a big selling point when you're trying to win deals with OEMs, original equipment manufacturers.
And are they winning those deals?
Seems like it. They've expanded collaborations. We know about Ember, and there's a new partnership with Awaken RV. That shows deeper penetration into that key RV market. Getting designed into an OEM's product is a good sign.
Yeah, that's a vote of confidence. Anything else?
Well, they did get some industry recognition recently, awarded the 2025 Battery Technology Company of the Year.
Okay, that helps with visibility, marketing, maybe investor confidence too.
Definitely helps perception. The market wants to see signs that they're still a player technologically, even with the balance sheet stress.
So what's the next big thing to watch? What could really move the needle soon?
The big one, the absolute key short-term event, is the upcoming Q3 earnings release. It's scheduled for November 15th, 2025.
Okay, that's coming up fast. Moment of truth time.
Totally. Investors will be glued to that report. They'll be looking for any sign that revenue is starting to pick back up, maybe proof those ODM deals are turning into actual sales dollars.
Or maybe some improvement on the cost side. Better margins?
Critically important, yes. Any sign of margin improvement would be huge. And remember that cash they just raised?
The $55 million.
The expectation is they'll deploy that pretty quickly. Could be for new product launches, maybe funding new partnerships. That deployment itself is a potential catalyst over the next, say, 3 months.
Okay, so those are the tangible things.
Yeah.
But what about the buzz? The stuff driving that crazy volatility?
Right. The speculative side. We have to talk about what's flying around on forums, social media.
The rumors.
Exactly. And look, we have to be super clear here. This is not confirmed information. These are rumors, whispers, speculation, not official company statements.
Understood. But what are people whispering about?
Well, some pretty big things. Chatter about potential deals with major automotive OEMs. That would be a game changer, moving way beyond RVs.
Wow, okay. What else?
Talk of a nice-gen battery launch, maybe something cutting edge. Even speculation about them moving into grid-scale energy storage. You know, the really big utility-level batteries.
Grid scale would be massive diversification.
Huge. So you can see the temptation, right? If any of those big rumors turn out to be true, then maybe the stock's incredibly cheap right now, and the rally makes sense.
But until there's confirmation, it's just hope.
It's hope and speculation driving the price, yeah. Not concrete facts yet.
What gives them a fighting chance longer term, though, despite the current mess?
The macro picture, definitely. The whole world is moving towards electrification, renewables, battery storage. That overall trend is incredibly strong. They're swimming in the right current, you know.
Right place, right time, if they can survive the current storm.
That's the key. They need to fix the internal issues, the financials, the operations, to actually benefit from those big tailwinds.
Okay, let's try and tie this all together then. Given everything, the crazy volatility, the weak financials, the potential catalysts, the rumors, who should even be looking at this stock right now? What kind of investor?
Look, this is really demanding a trader's mindset, not necessarily a long-term investor's, at least not right now.
Why specifically a trader?
Because the risks are just so high. You've got that massive
Oh,
volatility.
yeah.
We're talking daily swings anywhere from 9% up to over 30%. That's huge. Plus, the ongoing issue with margins getting squeezed.
So you need discipline, tight stops, clear exit plan.
Absolutely. And you can't forget the competition. This lithium battery space is brutal. Lots of big, well-funded companies fighting for every piece of market share. Dragonfly Energy is punching above its weight, maybe, but also struggling with that cash constraint.
Any technical levels traders are watching?
Yeah, sources point to some key levels. There seems to be significant technical resistance around $1.25. That might be an upside target for short-term plays.
And on the downside, with that volatility,
The suggested stop-loss level mentioned is way down around 300-386. That gap tells you just how much uncertainty and potential downside the market is pricing in. It's expecting a wild ride.
so boiling it down, the investment thesis here is really short term.
Overwhelmingly, yes, it looks like a play on short-term volatility, trying to capitalize on news around earnings, maybe a partnership announcement in the next quarter or so.
And for someone thinking long term, buy and hold.
Extreme caution is needed there. Until you see real, sustained improvement losses shrinking, profitability in sight, and crucially, that quick ratio getting back to a healthier level, it's just too speculative for a core long-term holding. It's a bet on a turnaround actually happening.
So what we've got with Dragonfly Energy is this intense conflict, right? You have these immediate potential pauses, the IP, the OEM wins, the new cash.
Clashing head-on with really severe financial stress, the losses, the cash burn, the weak balance sheet.
And the next few weeks, especially around that November 15th earnings report, feel absolutely critical.
They really are. That report could tell us if this incredible 416% spike was the beginning of something real, a fundamental shift, or if it was just a temporary burst of excitement fueled mostly by rumors and hope.
And the final question for you, the listener, is this.
Hmm.
When you look at that 0.3 quick ratio and the 21% revenue decline, are you confident enough in the rumors and the technicals to bet your capital on an operational pivot that hasn't materialized yet? Or is it wiser to wait for proof that they can fix the plumbing before they try to build a skyscraper?